see if I can remember how to do this. So we have one viewer. Does that one viewer have any questions? How's it going, everybody? I'm doing okay, I guess. Anyone have any questions? Heading to Nova Scotia tomorrow for some searches. I'm hoping that I get some support, some new faces. We have 12 people on. Anyone have any questions? Leonard, I'm doing all right. Still surviving. Thought I'd pop on and answer some questions if anyone has any questions. Every day seems to be a battle, Leonard, that is for sure. With some of the things that I learned at the hearing, just makes things a whole lot more difficult. Good evening, everybody. We have 19 people on. Anyone have any questions? Confused about anything? Questions about the chief? Do you guys understand what I meant in my video? About the chief? Any questions on Dylan? Don't be shy. What with the chief yesterday? Basically, Tom Fitzpatrick, he's head of Colchester Search and Rescue. He retired a few months ago. He had to testify for the Truro Police because he was at the initial searches for Dylan. So after he testified, he stuck around to listen to Chief McNeil. And what he heard from Chief McNeil was the first time he heard it. Basically, it was just a bunch of lies, nonsense. You know, it really struck him hard. I know that after he heard that, he told me about it. He told Ashley about it. He told my lawyer about it, just stating that it was the first time he heard that story, and that he lost respect of Chief McNeil. Because, you know, we're talking about a 3-year-old child, so. Um, but anyway, he said goodbye to us, wished us luck, that he wasn't going to attend the next day, because after you testify, you have the option to stay and watch. But he ended up showing up the next day, and he came up to the group of us, and he's like, I just have to finish Chief McNeil's testimony, because it blew his mind the day before. So he stayed and watched my lawyer cross-examinated him, and after all that, we went on break, and Tom went and talked to Rob Hearn, deputy chief, and Rob apparently said to Tom, "What do you think of the hearing or Chief McNeil's testimony?" And Tom stated, "First time hearing that story, I lost respect of the guy." And Rob Hearn said he was retiring after that statement, and a lot of different things in Dylan's case. You know, and I knew that 3 weeks before he even retired, so it's not like I made that stuff up, or Tom Fitzpatrick would even make that up. I mean, Tom's 36 years military, 15 years search and rescue. He flew the helicopter. He had no reason to tell me and my family lies. So whatever Chief McNeil said, which it was all baloney, it really affected a few people. And it was all off the record. It was in the lobby. You know, even my lawyer heard, but it's when something's off the record, it makes it that much more difficult unless then people speak up. You know, it's hearsay until otherwise, I guess. But it happened. What did I do with baby Dylan? Is that really a question? Is that happening today? Let's. I don't have a moderator tonight, so that sucks. But I'll see if I can delete you. Whatever that comment when it's gone. So that's the gist of Chief McNeil. He totally lied at the hearing, so bad that it had people shaking their heads. You'd have to be there to witness it. Everybody that was there noticed what happened. It wasn't in the hearing. Maybe the board members or the panel members didn't catch on, but I know out in the lobby, it was very well known. It was unbelievable, really. Dylan. Um, the police looked into 51 tips, I do believe it was, at the beginning. See, the police complaint hearing, they only go so far back. So it's not the entire investigation, it's just the initial investigation and search. So um, they there was about 3 tips that they vaguely looked into. There were no follow-ups or really any information stating anything. So we had to question them on exactly what happened that day and how they handled the tip. There was one where there was a video footage and the cop let the the worker look and decide if it was Dylan or not, and went with that person's word without looking themselves. I thought that was pretty crazy, but it's the Truro Police for you, I guess. I learned that there is inconsistencies with Dorothy's story. I'm not going to get into it. I'll just say there was inconsistencies that we proved with the timeline. Well, we didn't prove it. Other officers proved it on their notebooks, because we had all their paperwork to go through. Dylan's disclosure, so it was all in there. I can't go. I can't really talk about the disclosures and all that stuff, so we'll just move on from that. Thanks, Leonard. As far as I know, most tips were looked into. Some of them were just half-assed, but um, how's it going, everybody? So, any more questions? The grandmother wasn't needed. In my lawyer's words, she's all over the place. Nothing she would say would be credible anyway. Her just every her stories are always changing. Just I'm not really gonna go much into the grandmother other than the 18 seconds is just far-fetched. The whole thing was kind of far-fetched. Our PI talked a little bit in the hearing about how it's impossible for 18 seconds. So Dave Worrell's 31 years, no, 36 years retired, Halifax Regional RCMP, did, dealt with murder scenes and missing people and all kinds of stuff. And told the he told everybody his thoughts on 18 seconds and how it's just impossible from where the grandmother was standing, to where he apparently went. It's just physically impossible for 18 seconds. So we've already known the timeline needs to be worked on, so that's not really new information. There's more work to be done with that timeline. I really hope I find the answers I'm looking for too. True, please. The Truro police think they did a fantastic job and they won't admit to any mistakes, because if they admit to doing wrong, then that shows that um, they didn't do their due diligence. So they're not going to say they did a bad job or apologize for nothing. It's a horrible world. They protect themselves. It's just like the movies. I'm telling you, it's it's crazy. It's The grandmother was an alcoholic for 20 years. Before she had Dylan over there, she had quit for a few years. Um, we could talk about the grandmother all day, but it's we all feel the same thing. Something's not right on that end with the timeline and what happened that day at the grandmother's. We all can agree on that, until the police do more investigating. We're at a standstill on the grandmother aspect of it. if we win and they are proven to be neglectful in any way in Dylan's hearing, they're probably going to reinvestigate certain aspects anyway, even if we lose. I don't think there's really any really winning and losing. Even if we won, the cops get a slap on the wrist. And in many cases, it never happens, and it's reality, but it's sad. They really get away with a lot. Um, but let's say they were found neglectful. Chief McNeil could be um, he could be brought down to deputy chief, diploma, or I can't think of the right word for it, but they could lose pay for a week, or they could be suspended with pay for 2 weeks, and then everything's back to normal. It's um, but then we would get a counter lawsuit and sue them if they were neglectful. um, there's always other avenues. We know they were neglectful. I know that I was mistreated ever since I made a police complaint that brought us to that day. I know that Chief McNeil, I already knew his mistakes, and as soon as I made that complaint, he knew that there was a whole shitstorm coming his way, and he made my life a little harder. I can guarantee it. I mean, I have hair clippers I've been trying to give to the police for a while. I'm trying to figure out if I can give them to the RCMP so they can get them to the Truro Police, where I'm not in Nova Scotia. But I waited 3 weeks for the lead investigator to call back, and still nothing. So I'll drop them off when I'm down in Nova Scotia tomorrow. So can't expect the Truro Police to do anything. Who's overlooking the hearing? I don't know the names. They were all probably in their 70s. Three really old people. They were the head people. Ashley Kutcher, or Ashley Dutcher, sorry. She was the Truro police lawyer. Allison Harris was our lawyer. They said the halfway house was checked. Was it done right away? Probably not, but apparently it was checked on day one. Everybody was accounted for and all that. I honestly, until they make their decision, I can't really answer much of anything with the hearing, actually. So all I can say was you were allowed to be there, you were allowed to listen. It was public, but you weren't allowed to record anything that was learned inside. I don't know. I'll talk about it a little bit because they shared it on the news. I noticed they didn't share Chief McNeil's testimony. I wish they'd share it. Then we could all see the crazy bullshit he spilled out of his mouth. No, I don't think they didn't really treat Dylan's case as criminal investigation, so they really didn't look into sex offenders, to my knowledge. Um, I mean, they barely canvassed houses, let alone, you know, they didn't really do anything for the criminal side at the beginning, other than tips and searching. I looked into sex offenders. I used my drone. I flew over people's houses. I looked into a lot of people. I really didn't care if I was breaking laws or what. I did what I had to do. I'm not going to mention who I looked into, but I looked into a lot of people. And I haven't really come across anything. W5 was the best thing that ever happened. She shined some light onto some pretty important stuff. Avery Haynes is the best investigating journalist in Canada, and I was very lucky and proud to have her. It took 7 months of me talking to her and bugging her, but that's who I am. And eventually, she said she would be here for us, and she did. She came down. Have a good night, Leonard. Yeah, Avery Haynes opened some eyes for sure. You could really tell who the chief is in that, what the kind of person he is. It's been a long road, I can tell you that. I know that the movie producer called me the other day. They're pretty interested in talking to Tom Fitzpatrick. I did tell CTV News probably 2 weeks before Rob Hearn retired, a couple days ago. So that kind of blew their minds. It's like he knew, so it's not like he's making it up. Like some weird stuff's going on in the background. What's with everybody retiring in Nova Scotia? All these cops and RCMP officers. It's like everybody's retiring. Oh, we'll just run away from the issues. Oh, my PI with the cops. So they blame that on me at the hearing. So because how I was so pushy and stuff, they canceled the meeting. But if you look back at my emails and dates, they canceled the PI appointment. It was must have been 3 days after my police complaint in 2020. So if you really look into it, you can easily tell that they did it to piss me off, because I pissed off Chief McNeil. I pissed off some people making that complaint. It's nothing new. I mean, you see it around the world. You stand up for yourself for what's right, and you get bullied by them. They're not allowed to make mistakes, and they think they're God, and not with Dylan's case. My PI, yes, definitely. They had questions that they don't want to answer. Definitely, a lot of questions that aren't being answered. I think my lawyer Allison Harris presented a pretty damn good case. I think we could have did a little better, but we did the best we could. It's hard going against the government. Our lawyer against their two lawyers. Um, they have endless money and we don't have any money. So it's it is what it is. It's been like 25 minutes. Any more questions? Or a question I didn't answer because I missed it? I'll never stop fighting for Dylan. That's never gonna happen. If I was gonna break and quit, I would have done that long ago. Any more questions? Thank you for all the love, everybody. Looks like there's no more questions. I hope the documentary movie's out at the end of the year. They did attend the hearing, and see, there's just more and more to Dylan's story, right? So, even if they wanted to cap it and finish up, something new happens, like Rob Hearn retiring. That's something big, so now they're going to have to wait and, capture that. So it's might be the end of the year, it might be longer. It really depends on how many crazy things are going to happen. It's crazy we even have to deal with the police. We should only be focusing on Dylan, but without the police working together with you, it's kind of makes everything more difficult. This was probably one of the most quietest YouTube lives I've done, which I'm not going to complain. Yeah, I'm heading to Nova Scotia tomorrow. I'm going to be searching Saturday and Sunday. Anyone that wants to help, private message me and we'll all meet up and we'll support Dylan. Thank you, everybody. Let's bring Dylan home.